injured after a passenger bus plunged into a ravine on the Inter-American Highway in western Guatemala, according to emergency officials. Firefighters said the victims include 11 men, 3 women, and a minor. The injured were rushed to the nearby hospitals for treatment. The crash has happened in Guatemala's Solola department between kilometers 172 and 174, a stretch of road notorious for dense fog and poor visibility. Images related by local fire services showed the mangled bus at the bottom of the ravine as rescue teams worked through the early hours to recover victims and assist survivors. Authorities are investigating the cause of the crash, with weather and road conditions expected to be key factors. Now we move back to Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine's anti-corruption agency has said that it is being blocked by state security forces from carrying out raids inside of the parliament, as investigators probe a new organized crime case allegedly involving sitting lawmakers. The National Anti-Corruption Bureau, known as NABU, says undercover operations uncovered an organized criminal group that includes current members of parliament. Investigators claim officers from Ukraine's State Security Department who are actively resisting searches inside of the parliamentary committees. Local media reports arrests are underway in Kyiv's government district, but NABU officers have not yet been allowed to enter the Verkhovna Rada building. The standoff comes as Ukraine faces a widening corruption crisis at the top of government. Several senior officials linked to President Volodymyr Zelensky have resigned in recent weeks. Among them is former Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak, who stepped down last month after being implicated in the ongoing investigation. The developments risk deepening political tensions as Kyiv seeks to project transparency while relying heavily on Western support. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Mr. Gilbert Doktorov. He's a Russian affairs expert, joins us live from Brussels. Thank you very much, Mr. Doktorov, for staying with us. Now looking at this, a lot of corruption-related charges or corruption-related news coming from Ukraine. What more can you tell us about this?
Well, in addition to what you have reported, which is new and important, the Russians, and I have in mind TASS, their news agency, gives a little bit of supplemental information. What they point out is that today in the Ukrainian parliament, which is called the Rada, there were only 30 deputies present. And there were only 30 deputies because the rest didn't dare show up, since they were aware of that this anti-corruption organization was descending on the parliament, probably to make arrests. And they further point out that there were 2 deputies in particular who were believed to be the object of the visit by NABU. NABU is the Ukrainian acronym for the Anti-Corruption Bureau. And these both are very close, people very close to Mr. Zelensky. What it is fair to say is that they are circling Zelensky, and they will, as we say in English, nail Zelensky at some point in the next few weeks, because the evidence mounts that the people around him were all corrupt. The logic is that he also was corrupt. So I think that his tenure in office is jeopardized by the continuing activities of NABU and today's fright put into the deputies who didn't show up at the parliamentary building for fear of being arrested. I think that is indicative of the scope of the corruption investigation and of its political direction.
Yes, thank you for highlighting that. And you know, how does this corruption allegations around Zelensky and in highest levels of Ukraine's government, how is this affecting international support and credibility? Also, is there anyone who can replace Zelensky as a leader if Zelensky is also maybe affected by these?
As folklore tells us, there are no irreplaceable people. So of course Mr. Zelensky can be replaced, and of course there are candidates to fill that post, and they're not from among the former presidents of Ukraine, who are themselves deeply corrupt and deeply disliked by the population. It will be some new faces that we don't yet identify directly. But the international dimension you have correctly raised should be viewed for the opposite end. It is not how this corruption scandals will affect the situation in Ukraine. It is how the international situation is affecting or may affect the stability in Ukraine. What I have in mind is the Anti-Corruption Bureau is heavily supported by the United States of America. Their activity, which will eventually, almost certainly, bring down Zelensky, is encouraged by the Trump administration.
Right. And how should Ukraine's government now balance parliamentary immunity with the need for aggressive anti-corruption enforcement, while also fighting a war?
The war's continuation is due to the nexus of people around Mr. Zelensky, who are the same ultranationalists who came to power in February 2014 during a coup d'etat. It is only with the removal of those people, not just Mr. Zelensky himself, but of his close colleagues, who are now under attack precisely by NABU, by the anti-corruption organization. With their removal, one by one, or as a whole group, their way will be cleared for new people to come to power who are ready to make peace with Russia on realistic terms.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Dr. Rowe for joining us today and sharing that insight throughout our news. Thank you very much.